One of them.
Awesome.
Hi guys, welcome.
Welcome everyone. Thank you for
It's
joining us.
Wednesday. We're usually doing this on Thursday, but we figured with the upcoming holiday, we wanted to slide in some more education for you guys.
Definitely. And I'm used to saying Friday Junior, but I guess it's
know.
hump day. So it's halfway through the week, which is
Happy
just as
Hump
good.
Day. That is good. All right, guys. Well, we're waiting for everyone to come in, have some fun. This is a unique webinar this week because I think you guys are now experts, kind of, sort of, of AI because you've been coming to our courses for the last couple of months. So today we're switching the tables around and we're going to let you ask us anything. So we'll let everybody join, get comfortable, turn your cameras on.
Make yourself comfortable.
Don't be shy. We have ours on.
Yeah.
How's everyone doing today? How about throwing in number 1 if you're having a good day? Welcome, everybody. Well, all right.
All right. Christian's having a good day.
Yeah.
Raul, nice to see your
Nice.
face.
It's good.
Awesome.
Good to see familiar names in here, guys. We are going to have some fun. And in typical lawyer fashion, we will be giving away some prizes because what's a webinar without prizes, y'all? So anyone have any fun 4th of July plans?
Ooh.
No. Work? Keeping up with AI? I think
Yeah.
that's pretty much what we're doing. So we'll give everyone, as soon as we get the heads up, we will begin and we'll have some fun. Now, if you have questions, get ready, write them down because we're ready to answer them.
Absolutely. We don't have our slide that we usually have in here to tell you where the chat box is. I think some of you already found it, but if you're not familiar, on the bottom bar, if you're on a desktop, you'll see a little chat icon that'll appear. You can click that and it'll open up the chat. And if you are in an app, in the Zoom app, you're going to want to tap the 3 dots in the corner. It'll open up a little chat box that you can
Perfect.
start.
If you need help with anything technically, raise your hand and someone from the lawyer team will help. But I think we could get started. Are we ready to get started, guys? Something in chat? No? Yes?
Ready.
Maybe, the universal thumbs up. Yes, the C's. All right.
Awesome. Yes. Lawyer.com. We love C's. If you want to clap and throw a round of applause, throw some C's in the chat. We love them.
We had a Christmas party once. It was virtual during COVID and they taught us that. And it's funny what sticks with you. So
It's always the funny things.
it
right?
is. It is. So, all right, guys, welcome to our Ask Us Anything AI edition webinar. We're excited to have you here. We probably don't need an introduction at this point, but if you are new to the group, we'll do a little introduction.
Yeah, let's dive in.
So my name is Colleen. I'm the president here at lawyer.com. This is
Annie. My name is Annie Gentoso. I work in AI product and specifically with the tech team, helping dream up new AI solutions for everyone.
who you can't see here is, again, our amazing tech team who is working so hard on cutting edge technology that we can't wait to bring to you guys. As always, we are welcomed by ChatGPT 4 because we pay for the plus $20 a month and it is so worth it. So welcome ChatGPT. I will say, I got an email that now on my app, and we've gone through this, my ChatGPT app on my phone, I can now browse with Bing and get real-time updates. So I'm not
Nice.
limited to September 2021 anymore.
Amazing. So for those that weren't with us with a prior in our prior session, that was one of the pain points that we highlighted was that while GPT-4, by signing up for the plus version of ChatGPT, it's really great and it works really well. It still isn't up to that 2023 data. And so now if you search using that plugin, you're able to do it.
So it's nice. So now it tells me that Argentina won the World Cup. So now we know, just in case we forgot. So before we dive into Ask Us Anything, we just want to do a quick recap to get everybody on the same page. You guys nailed the 101. You've nailed the 201. If you would like to go back and refresh yourself, we have everything on our YouTube channel. So feel free, we will send that around, but we are lawyer.com on YouTube.
Awesome. We are going to be able to also, we will share with you our lawyer.com YouTube page. Feel free to follow and subscribe. Anytime we have a webinar, we will upload it afterwards to YouTube.
Absolutely.
And also we sometimes put out fun announcements out there too.
Like and subscribe. We laughed earlier because I feel like every podcast is like and subscribe.
Yeah, we were saying you always hear listen wherever you listen to podcasts. So go find us on YouTube. We'd love it.
Now, again, just to reiterate, guys, this is a very interactive webinar. So if you have any questions, feel free to come off mute or to go right to the chat. You will be rewarded for that later. So I will just say that. But tips and tricks, Annie. What do we
Awesome.
have to know about AI right now?
Absolutely. We're going to just do a quick recap of our prior sessions for anyone who wasn't there. Just to give you some tips when you're using ChatGPT, we advise give it the more details, the better, including tone. If you tell it you want it to be a stern letter versus a kind and gentle letter, it will create two totally different results. We definitely recommend including that information there. The next piece is getting as specific as possible. So throwing those contextual details in there can help a ton. It can help it
Absolutely.
get smarter and maybe bring up some more things that otherwise wouldn't have thought of. Ending things in TLDR. We love TLDR over here. It stands for too long, didn't read. It's for those cases when you're getting a response back, you know, you're going to get like 6 paragraphs back in a response and you only have time to read 2. So this will help condense it down into a short form. And then finally, our favorite tip.
Our favorite. We love this. Is anyone using this at all? If so, add it in chat. We'd love to hear. Eli 5, explain it to me like I'm 5, or Eli 1, or Eli 10. If you're using this in the chat, we would love to know how you're using it and how it's working, because we love it around here.
Absolutely. And Eli 5 helps make the information similar to that TLDR, but it makes it be super digestible and super easy to understand. Nothing, no complex terms.
Awesome. So then let's go roll in and talk about using prompts to help us in real world.
Absolutely. So as we mentioned previously, ChatGPT has so many uses specifically in the legal profession. We've got help with writing demand letters, writing jury questions, writing contracts out. And so there are a lot of ways that you can get some help from GPT to get things started as you're working on doing some of these more mundane tasks of a lot of writing. This can help get your leg up, get started. And as you can see, we added on the left that some of those contextual clues. So we put in a stern demand letter. We added some clues about what the letter is for, and it's going to give you something really robust. We always recommend though going back in and double checking all of the work that gets put out to make sure that A, it is accurate, and B, that it has your own flavor to it too. You want to give your own stamp on it for everything.
So is anyone using GTP4 or GTP 3.5 to write contracts, to use it for demand letters, to use it for jury questions? We would love to hear your feedback in the chat. Okay, so we've got, Kristen's got a question, so we'll get to that. That's a good one.
That's a great question, Christian. Let's see. All right.
All right.
Let's dive in. We are about to just get right to the Ask Me Anything part 2. So you're in great timing.
So Eli 5, Eli 5, Annie, what are we doing here? Eli 1.
Yes.
What are we doing?
Name says it all. Name of the game is Ask Us Anything AI related. If you ask us a question, it gets answered on the call, you will get a $25 Amazon gift card. So ask away.
So
Have at it.
Rules are pretty simple. We're here to answer your calls. We're here with the AI expert. So let's figure it out. Don't stump us though. It may happen.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll get like an extra reward if you stump us, but are we ready? This is why we're all here. Ready, set, go.
All right. So
who's going to ask us a question?
All right, Christian, I think you are up first. So we've got, are there any AI tools capable of reviewing selected case decisions and at least outlining an argument based on those decisions? I've been ad hoc pasting into GPT, but I didn't know if there might be anything purpose built for using GPT API. Really great question.
Yeah.
So for those that aren't familiar what a GPT API is, you might be saying that's a lot of letters and I don't know what that means. So just to take a step back, an API is a special set of code that is created by developers, and that allows you to use their product in your own product. So that is how you're able to see some of these, like Zillow is using ChatGPT, but you don't have to go to ChatGPT to use Zillow. You can still be in Zillow and ChatGPT magically appeared. So that's what API that's responsible for that. When it comes to looking at case decisions, we did a lot of reviewing. I've got a little post-it note of all the ones that I wrote down that I wanted to highlight here. But for case decisions to have that full life cycle management, there are some out there. So Luminance is one that I definitely recommend checking out. That one has case decisions. It can help create arguments based on that. And it's really a full suite of case management. So from start to finish, working with a potential new client to becoming a client, to signing a retainer, All of that you can manage within that platform, and it can also help with that case research and do it collaboratively too. Because I think that's one of the bigger things is that you might have a couple of associates doing some research for you, and they're all doing different things, and they might be looking at the same thing and you don't even know. And so this can help you be on the same page and be organized at all times.
And again, don't worry about taking feverish notes, because we will make sure that we send all our Q&A to you guys so that you have it. So again, we're just going to jump in. What's the name of the platform, Annie?
The name of the platform is OpenAI. For the one that I said, Luminance. So LUMINANCE. We are not affiliated with any of these companies. This is just what I found in my research. So if I'm throwing a name out there, it's not that I said that one's better than something else. It's just one that in my research, it's coming up as being a really great option to check out.
So let's see. Okay, Richard can email.
Oops, Richard had it right here. How to print response.
Okay.
So the best way to do this is you're going to want to copy the response from GPT itself. So when ChatGPT is open, you're going to want to ask it the question and it will generate that response for you. When you see that response generated, you're going to want to hover your mouse in the right side of that response, and it's going to populate 3 icons. It'll be a thumbs up, a thumb down, and then a clipboard. If you click that clipboard and then you go to a Microsoft Word or whatever word processing platform you use, you can paste that in and it will format it exactly as it should look normally and how you saw it in ChatGPT, and you can print it right from there. In the same way, you could copy that and paste it into an email, but right now there isn't an option to do file print within GPT. I imagine that's going to be coming soon.
Yeah.
We did highlight last week though that you can download a plugin if you're on ChatGPT Plus. You could use a plugin to download as a PDF, and then if you're downloading it as a PDF, you could directly print that PDF long term and email that PDF around. So that's another option as well.
Well, a fun, I know it's not a question that Richard asked, but something that I was playing around with is I went into ChatGPT and I said, hi, I'm Colleen. This is who I am. I want you to read my emails, understand my tone, and then write an email that I would write. So I went in and I took maybe the last 5 or 6 emails that I wrote. I put it in and I said, analyze. I wrote a really good prompt, and boom, it wrote me out what I would have written myself, which is pretty amazing. So again, that's just another application if you're looking to produce content.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or write your own emails.
Yeah, you can have it. And something too, you can give it that identity too. So you can say, write an email as Colleen. You remember Colleen, how Colleen speaks, write it as Colleen. So it's really smart.
So for example, if you are working with your client and you're lawyer Annie, and this is everything that ChatGPT needs to know about lawyer Annie, and then boom, hey, lawyer Annie needs to write an email to her client who owes this money. Help me write the email. Boom. You don't have to deal with it. It's done.
Absolutely. We're getting a ton of questions. Okay. This is awesome. So John, great question. Shouldn't I always use the Bing plugin since it allows real-time info? You would think that would be the default. You would think that everyone would want to get the real-time info. For some reason, it's not the default. I imagine it might become the default in the very near future. They're pushing it a lot more for folks to start toggling that on. I think that the biggest reason is that for the plugins, it's not available for the free version. So it's not always going to default for that. So for the folks that are on the free version, they won't have this available to them. But if you do pay the $20 a month for the Plus version, you can get access to that real-time data. And it also allows you to that you can play around with it too. I think that's really the biggest thing is that Bing formats the responses slightly different than ChatGPT does. So I definitely encourage you to try it with it on versus when it's not on. Just even the way it'll create a source for you is something different. Yeah, no, that's excellent. And someone asked about legal research. So we will get to that because we did ask for some questions ahead of time. So we do have we pulled out what we thought were the meatiest questions that you guys would find interesting. So we will address that for sure. We'll talk about plugins as well. Absolutely. Oh, Nathan's got a meaty question in there. We've got, what are the ethical considerations around using AI in the legal setting? For example, how do we ensure the confidentiality and security of sensitive client data? Do I need to black out names before hitting enter in ChatGPT if I'm asking for analysis of client's file? Really great question. So my rule of thumb when it comes to personally identifiable information is give it less amount, the better. Don't give it a lot. It doesn't need a lot in order to create these documents. Granted, if you want some sentences that are real specific, driving home a certain point, the details do help
Make
do
up a
that.
name.
But you could also, you can make up a name.
John
That's
Smith.
one, that's an idea.
Yeah.
Or you could also just say in my edit, I know I need to drive home a certain point and I'm going to put it in and word it in however I need to. But I definitely encourage you to redact documents. So if for those who might not be familiar, if you are in Microsoft Word, if you do a Control F for a search, it'll open up, it'll do a little search bar. You can search for the name of your client and you can check off a little box that says replace with. Anytime that that name comes up in the document, it can replace it with whatever word you designate. So that's a real quick way to redact a document and take out some of that information. I know for health information, we're focused on it, but we need to too when it comes to attorney-client privilege information.
All right, so let's go. I know we had a couple questions pre-submitted, so we'll go through those and then we'll get back to the questions in chat. And again, if you want to get off mute, go for it. This is an interactive, informal discussion where hopefully we're able to transfer AI knowledge to you guys so you can start using it. And
Absolutely.
with that said,
ooh, this is a really great one. So how do you think AI will change the methods of collection? This is from.
Let's ask everyone who loves making collection calls to their clients who owe them money. Let's throw a 1 in the chat if we love it. Oddly, we see no one.
Yeah, no one likes doing shakedowns. It's not what you went to law school trying to do. I know that.
And I think on average, I think 30% of receivables are collected. So it's definitely a pain point in the industry. And I truly think that AI could come in an ethical and strategic model and change it for the better. How? Well, we talked about this. And for example, a boomer and a zoomer, very different, right? You're going to treat and communicate your zoomers different than you were your boomers.
Mm-hmm.
Because good luck getting a zoomer on the phone. Good luck getting a millennial on the phone. All they want is this. So what you're going to see happen in a collection standpoint is more technology, it'll be more automated. It's going to understand the behaviors of your client and then analyze, study, learn, and then help you collect. Collections is something we're very passionate about here. If you are a lawyer.com member, you know we have a product for collections. If you hate collections, call me because we will do a bang up job for you on collections. But we do see that AI will help collections as an industry whole, not just in legal, but across the board.
Absolutely. I think it helps take out some of that human element where you might feel, I don't know if I really want to call them. This is a tough case and now I got to call them and ask for money. And this is just really awkward. And this is going to help make that be a lot easier to do. And also gives you that high level view, because I think something that we talk about a lot at our business builder seminars is that sometimes you don't know the data that you're not tracking as closely. So you might sit down to look at those numbers and realize 70% of I didn't collect 70% of my possible revenue. That's alarming. I need to go back and get more.
Yeah.
Awesome. I think another question that came up somewhat similar. It's a really meaty one, and I'm sure a lot of folks here are interested of how can AI help grow a small law firm? So we highlighted we took out some names of some programs that you might want to check out. So definitely write these down. We will send over as well afterwards so that you have a copy.
And I will say we are going to do a more intimate AI workshop on this topic. How can AI grow my firm? Because I feel like it's a question that keeps coming up. And now that we all have the foundation of AI for now until it changes tomorrow, we can now say, okay, now how do we start implementing this into the business? So for example,
one of the big things, e-discovery. So something that I think a lot of us have gotten used to over the past 10 years is discovery has moved a lot into the virtual space. Everlaw is a platform that is using AI, especially in the e-discovery space. So they are going to do a lot of it, and it allows collaboration. AI to our website to answer questions. Kathleen, yes, that is another possible use case. That is where that API that I mentioned earlier, that string code, that is how some of these websites are having those chatbots. That's a perfect example of it. Sometimes those are, you have to work sometimes with a third party to get it set up if you don't have the tech team to do it, but it is a definite case. And so e-discovery, that's something that can be tedious. Everlaw allows your team to collaborate. So this will help you. You can know that 4 associates aren't researching the same thing at once. You can have this so you can communicate with each other better.
Billable hours, I think by a show of hands, how many people hate logging their hours or approving their hours or yes, thank you.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's excited about that. But again, that's just all flat fees. There you go, Nathan. That may be the future of law. But again, there are AI tools out there that can help you with e-discovery, with billables, with contracts.
Yeah, with contract automation, Contract Pod AI. That's one that's gotten a lot of, I think, over $100 million in funding in the past 6 months alone. Contract Pod AI does really great. It's a really great platform to help with redlining contract text, offering suggestions based on prior contracts that you'd agreed to or you drafted up. And on that billable hours piece, Bright Flag is another one that can help with managing your firm's, how you're doing paying your employees at your firm. That can help with automating that. And it's specifically for law firms. It's not one of the bigger ones. Another one is document creation. FileVine is really great. They're doing a lot with AI solutions on their platform. They were pre-existing and now they're including a lot more of AI. Another one you're very familiar with, Lexis, for some legal research. Lexis and Westlaw are using AI. Westlaw is rumored to be in the running. They're rumored to be buying someone pretty big. And so that might be coming up by next time we meet. We might have that close. So who knows?
Is anyone using ChatGPT for legal research? All right. Love it. Good.
Awesome.
And what are your findings?
Didn't like it at all.
You didn't like it?
Not at all. The case law was completely wrong.
It was.
That's what you guys term hallucinations.
Yep. Did you have your ChatGPT helmet on just to make sure, you know?
I read the cases and the cases did not say what ChatGPT told me it said. And I've spoken to some lawyers where the cases are completely fabricated. They don't exist.
Sure. And we did touch upon that. You know, I think we are all very familiar with that one law firm in New York and that one airline company in Colombia. But again, that's why it's important to understand where you're getting the information. And we talk about when you're using it, it's like riding a bike, right? We wouldn't ride a bike without our helmet on. So when we're doing research, we want to make sure that we're aware of the downfalls of that. And I do. Yeah, absolutely.
As a follow-up, that was my first experience with ChatGPT. Completely got it wrong. In a follow-up attempt at ChatGPT, it nailed it within like 5 or 10 seconds. It got the answer.
What was the second? Was it legal research or?
It was legal research.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that's a great metaphor though for ChatGPT in general, is that it could be hit or miss. And I think that's why we say don't rely on it to be the be all end all. Y'all are smart folks. You went to law school, you passed the bar. You are well educated folks and you know what's real and what seems off. And so definitely check those case citations. I highly recommend that.
No, and credit to you, Raul, for trying again, because our biggest fear is when we saw the Avianca lawsuit that we saw that, okay, maybe lawyers are now going to be too scared to use it. So the fact that you're trying it and pushing those limits, it's credit to you. So well done. We love seeing that.
Sure. And Nathan, you had a great idea about cross-referencing the case with Bard. You can always do that too. That's another filter you can try to pass it through. Again, I always recommend if you have a subscription or if you have access to anything of a Justia, Fastcase or Westlaw, anything that you can actually check the docket number, always do that just to make sure it exists.
Well, and I think, you know, no, keep going, Raul.
So in my opinion, even though it was completely wrong on the first try, I'm going to continue using it because I know AI will advance. And in the second instance, it saved me hours of research. So you have to try it. But of course, as Reagan says, trust but verify. We're going to verify because like you said, I mean, we went to law school, we graduated, etc. But I'm going to keep using it.
I think we need to, I mean, if that's not the best testimonial I've ever heard, that's amazing.
I love it.
Sam Altman needs that one.
Right, exactly. One thing I wanted to mention, I saw a question come in here related to medical records. I know a lot of personal injury attorneys have it's a lot of documents to go through. WiseDocs is a platform that is available for use right now for medical chronology. They can read 750 pages of medical records in 1 hour. So that's pretty amazing.
That's a lot.
It can go, I think that it can go faster than that. It can help you see if there are duplicate records. So maybe you're finding that a terminology keeps coming up over and over and over. This person has gone to 6 doctors and they all keep saying the same thing. You're going to see that highlighted. I was thinking also it could be really helpful for mass tort cases. You have that case qualification criteria. And so you can do a quick scan of these documents and see, did they have the qualifying situation to meet the parameters for the case? Really cool tool.
Well, something else that we could be using to grow our business is marketing. Just a quick survey here. What % do you think that you're spending on marketing per month? You spending 5%, 10, 0.
Okay. A lot of word of mouth.
Word of mouth? Good for you. That's great. Anyone else brave enough to pop it in? What percent? Okay. Yep. What percent of your revenue are you spending on marketing? Okay. Referrals and 200 for your website. Okay, good.
And 20%.
No, so I mean, the whole point I'm trying to make is, except if for everyone but Raul, we're spending money and we want to make sure that we're getting a good ROI on it, right? Because we need to always constantly be improving. And AI is now a tool in our tool belt that will help us with our marketing. So for example, we have plugins so that you can see how your competitors rank. You can get help with PPC ads, with creating content. There are endless ways that you could use ChatGPT or any AI really to help in marketing, especially if you're spending 50, 10, 20%.
Absolutely. And some of those plugins that we highlighted specifically, we will include in the follow-up PDF, but there is one for search PPC ads, SEO. When you go, something on a funny note with plugins, we say this weekly that as we meet, we can't keep up with how fast they're coming out.
Yeah.
Since we met last week, update for you, there are over 500 plugins now.
500?
When we started this session back 3 weeks ago, we were at 264, I believe, and we were over 500. So you can see it's moving really fast. They're getting more that are going to be legal specific. So definitely search the plugin store. I think that's really something I encourage you to do, because you might have searched last week and then there's 10 more that weren't there last week. So when you go into the plugin store, you do that. We have an instructions that we'll send over as well of how to do that. When you pull it up, you're going to select, it's going to bring up a whole store and you can search by topic. So if you want to search marketing plugins, it can pull up all the marketing ones. Travel, you can see travel, legal, whatever you'd like, you can have.
Yeah, no, definitely. And these are all things we're going to touch on our free kind of more intimate AI workshop, where we're going to take small groups and say, okay, what do you need help with? How can we help you grow? Do you need help into e-discovery, in marketing, in automation? Automation. Wow, that's a tongue twister today, guys. It's really been getting me all day. But now that we're talking about how to automate things, AI is a great way to do it. Like enhancing the client experience. Our clients are the most important thing, right? Our clients are you guys. You guys are the most important thing. Your clients are the most important things to you. Are you contacting them? Are you keeping in touch? Are you following up? These are all really important elements to keeping the client happy, and you can automate all of that with AI.
And something I think of too is that from that perspective of AI helping with some of the mundane tasks of a lot of the drafting that you have to do, this can help free up when you say, what am I going to do with that extra time in my day? This can go towards nurturing those client relationships and trying to help build that. Just like Raul said, word of mouth is powerful, especially for firms and bringing in traffic. So this could be a great way to nurture back with your clients.
I think Nathan's right. Nathan says that they're coming up with apps faster than he can keep up with his coffee.
I agree with that. Every day I check, there's more.
So again, that's like a small segment of how we think that AI can help your firm. So we got another question.
If you had to pick one key concern related to AI, what would it be and how would you answer it?
Let's switch the tables. Let's ask the audience and get to chat. What are some answers?
What are you afraid of with AI?
What makes you cautious? I do love Raul's perspective.
Discrimination.
Okay.
Isabel, I'm glad you mentioned that. That was a really interesting study. I highly recommend checking it out. It was done through MIT recently. It looks at how when humans, for an example, you were going to be if you asked a human to look at a set of dogs and decide if they're aggressive or if they're calm, the human would assess them a certain way. Now, if you told the human that you need to assess them and tell me what's scary or not aggressive, based to allow for someone to get into an apartment building, suddenly the litmus test gets a little skewed and I'm a little softer. I'm not going to be as harsh because someone needs a home. Fido can't live on the street. I need to make sure his home is safe and this apartment's good. And so it showed how humans typically soften their decision when they take in context clues. And on the flip side, ChatGPT does not. It almost doubles down. So it is a lot more stern in the way it assesses it. It takes rule as at face value. It reads the text and it says this is aggressive. It would say any type of mixed breed equals aggressive. And we know that's not the case.
You might black and white.
You might have a multi-poo. That's 10 pounds. It's not aggressive at all. But because the system is set to say mixed breed equals aggressive, it would perhaps be more discriminatory in it.
Yeah, no,
It is. Yeah. Medical innovations on a positive note. Yes, Richard, I totally agree.
Yeah.
AI is going to transform the medical space. I saw someone ask, hopefully it will create the cure for cancer. I agree with that as
No,
well.
we're all for that.
I hope that is the case. And I think just even looking at something like the Da Vinci arm and how much that has changed over the past 10,
Amazing.
15 years and how much that's improved and the more surgery types they're able to do, it's incredible.
Well, so let's go back to everybody in the audience.
Any other thoughts?
Let's get some more questions.
Oh, yep, they did. They just,
Oh, right now?
Raul, you broke the news. Case Text, that was
Wow.
the big player.
Did it just happen?
Case,
Wow.
they're listening to this webinar and they knew
Right.
that we were waiting and we were talking about them. That's it.
We didn't want to, spill it.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Case Text is really big. They're really great. They're based out of Canada and they have a lot of robust knowledge.
But I will say, like, that's how fast AI is moving. Here we are sitting in a webinar, we're saying one thing, and just like that, they announce it. Well, good for them. Congrats, because I know they had raised a lot and they've been working hard. So you love seeing, it's going to help all of us. So we love seeing that.
Absolutely. I always think, if I was going to say for myself of one concern, I always think of just people becoming too reliant on AI to do everything. So something that I think about is Teslas and self-driving cars. I asked a room of 12 people who had Teslas how often they use the self-driving feature. And the response was 0% of the time. None of them used it. None of them used the self-driving car, which is why I would have bought the self-driving car.
Drive me anywhere. I don't know what y'all think on that, but I'm reading my book.
Right. And I'm sure that for some folks that would be something you'd want to lean on. Some folks wouldn't. But I think it's kind of like that WALL-E example of when folks become so reliant on technology to do everything for them that they kind of forget how to do some of the basic things that they know how to do. And so that's why I always see with these different tools that are coming to be, is find ways and find which one helps lighten the load for you in a way that makes sense. So it doesn't take away the best part of your day. You want to keep the best part of your day, keep doing that. And that this just helps with the more mundane parts.
Well, John uses it. So yeah, but it goes back to what Raul was saying earlier, like try it.
Yeah. Why not?
That I love that. The star of our show. Okay. Oh, yay.
Awesome.
Like and subscribe.
Thank you, Raul.
All right. We'll take a couple more questions.
Let's see. I think there were a couple up at the top.
Okay.
Let's see. Could we see, Isabella had asked, could we see AI taking over even more complicated tasks in the future, and a fair timeline how soon we could start seeing it replace human thought processes to ensure fair judgment for cases? Yeah, it is. It goes right into that MIT research. That's something that that lab in itself is focused on doing AI research and specifically how it's going to impact legal. And so that's something that I could see that we have to just really be responsible with the use case of it, that it's something that it can, I could see it getting involved in the looking at the e-discovery, looking at all of the pieces leading up to that case being argued. I don't think that it would ever be able to litigate in front of the court. I don't think that that's ever going to happen, even though they keep trying to say it will.
What is that? Do not pay tried, right?
Yeah, do not pay tried and failed.
For now.
Yeah, we don't know. Yeah, and I think that from a fair timeline, I would say that it's going to be the next couple of years. I think that something that has been a sensation for a lot of folks is it feels like we went to bed in December and woke up in January and suddenly 2023 is the year of AI, like surprise. And everyone's wondering where this came from and why it just took off. And the biggest thing is it's been working slowly, very slowly in the background. It's gaining traction, it's gaining speed, it's getting a lot faster, but it's still going to take some years before we start seeing it in those huge applications, because there's a lot of regulation that needs to go into that.
Well,
government side.
I think Google, have they launched Gemini, or are they about to? Because they're about to take over. They think that they're going to take on GTP.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see. Now, again, Google's been working on AI for years and years, and now, now it's the time.
Great. You bring up a really interesting study that I came across as well. That study showed doctor AI was actually more empathetic than the actual doctors, which I think it kind of makes sense. I don't know if anyone else had this experience during COVID times with telehealth. It was, all right, nice to see you. Check next patient. I got to go to the next one. And so it wasn't as much time and energy as you usually would get when you would be in that setting. And so I could see where in that type of setting where someone might rate the advice from an AI better.
Well, it's also, it's true, people are calling your office all day long. And the first, that's the front lines are your phones. And if they're not met with empathy immediately, you're in trouble. So it'll be interesting to see how that all unfolds. Absolutely. All right, we'll take 2 more questions if that's okay. Let's see, any new questions? Could be any questions. We're here to answer. We're here to have fun. Tick tock, tick tock.
Any questions?
Oh.
I saw a question come in earlier about if we would be able to have a list of different ones. That I think is going to be our 301. We'll
Yeah.
also have some more in our interactive seminar, which we will talk about in just a moment.
Yeah.
But we will also have that probably in our 301 that we'll do a big focus on which ones specifically for each practice area.
Yeah, that's absolutely. So the 301 we'll do early July, right after the July break. And it's going to be how you are going to be using this in your office.
Nathan, that is a very funny question. I love it. If an AI commits a crime in a simulated environment, is it considered a white collar crime?
I think you just coined that right there, Nathan.
Yeah, I
So-
think that you might be the inventor of the term.
Do we
I like
have a patent lawyer in the group?
it. Yeah.
We
Right?
can trademark
Any
that
IP?
right now. Okay, what other applications will you cover? Well, so listen, this is the beauty of this is that we're here to help you guys learn. So if there's something that you want us to cover in the legal industry, we're always happy to talk about kind of what's happening as AI in general, but feel free to ask us and we'll try to include it. We do take all of your feedback back to the table every time we're putting our presentations together.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, Richard, we usually gear it towards legal specific because of the audience that we have. But if
Yeah.
there's an area, if you would really love to have more insight on a certain aspect of it, definitely let us know and we can work that into the presentation.
So, all right, guys, well, let's, okay, oh, that's a good one.
Yeah,
I love-
Raul, it is being released soon. It is being in a beta right now. There are 20 groups being tested with it. So it is coming very soon. I'm very excited to see it. And Google will have almost the exact same thing and Google Suite products as well.
How many characters will a prompt hold? That's a good one.
That's a really great question,
'Cause
John.
I write some long prompts.
It can take as many as you want. Now, the reason this doesn't matter on the chat side is that you're just able to put in as much as you want.
Yeah.
If you were using that API piece, so that chat that someone asked about, if they could embed a chat bot on their
Yeah.
website, that API has limits. So those only let you ask so many words in a question. But if you're on the platform using it as usual, no limits on the number of words in a question.
But there are limits on how much output we can get per day, correct?
Yeah, so in the free version, you can ask as many as you want. There's no limit on that, but
Okay.
it's not as fast as your response
Okay.
generated. If you're on the plus version, you can ask 25 messages every 3 hours is
Okay.
the limit that they have. And then it'll kickstart again.
Okay, that's good to know. So guys, we're here to answer your questions. We're also here to talk about our interactive business builder. We've talked about this over the last few weeks. This is because you guys want it. So here we are, we're going to be doing a 2 to 3 hour seminar, intimate, to talk about how we can use AI in your business. And we have been lucky to have our seats fill up. We have 2 to 3 programs going. You should have gotten an email if you RSVP'd with what date that you want. If you're interested, then feel free to email us. Like you said, it's 2 to 3 hours, and we're going to deep dive into how can AI help e-discovery, contracts, billing, marketing, you name it, we're going to cover it. So,
And we recognize as well that some of you might not have been here for the prior sessions when
Yep.
we offered this. So we will offer this again in future settings. This was our first beta group of trying it out.
yeah,
So definitely welcome all your feedback, but we wanted to just say, wish everyone a very happy 4th of July. And please join us for our next session on July 13th.
it's going to be a 301. So guys, it's going to be tough. So we
It'll
look
be
forward
fun.
to it. Everyone have a very safe and happy 4th of July. And we thank you all for joining us today. Thank you all.
Thank you for your engagement. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. Bye, guys.
Have a great weekend.